all profit is value extraction. And that means that all profit is theft from you.
Corporate America is on welfare, and we got to get them off welfare.
Nothing's more important than stopping fascism, because fascism will stop us all.
Hi, welcome to Cars and Comrades, your leftist car podcast. My name is Bryant, and we've got the whole gang here. How's everyone doing today?
Sleepy.
Pretty good.
Doing okay. Yeah.
But
like really sleepy.
Let's see. So today we're going to do a little bit of a news update. We're putting Ralph Nader on the shelf. We're going to come back to him later. But there's
little of the old Ralph on the shelf.
Yeah, it's like Elf on the Shelf, but
it doesn't rhyme as well.
Yeah. But events keep happening, and we have to talk about them. So that'll be coming up in a little bit. But we're gonna do our project car updates, and we're doing an innovative new order that we figured out, or that Brandon figured out, called, what did you call
Picking them randomly.
Okay. No, you called it torque bolt pattern or something like that.
Yeah, where you like alternate, you go back instead of a straight line, you go back and forth.
Okay.
You have to put pressure on us evenly or we'll break.
Yeah.
That's the point of this. So
I'm pretty sure I'm going to break either way.
Yeah. I mean, but the uneven pressure will just guarantee that, you know.
And I know we talked about this like less than a minute ago, but what was that order again, Brandon?
I think it starts with me.
Okay.
It starts with Connor.
And then I stopped paying attention after that point. So
Connor only cares about Connor.
Yeah.
Worst socialist.
He's an egoist. Okay?
He's an egoist.
Yeah.
Make
Great.
That joke.
Oh boy. Well, also the once again, the edible I took a while ago is kicking in, so I'm up there. I'm up there right
that
now.
one perfectly. Hell
You know what the magic words are, Connor?
I do
you
not.
gotta say the spell.
These edibles ain't shit.
No, I'm not gonna do that because that will end badly. Everybody knows that one. That's bad luck.
It really depends on what you think of badly.
Not to tangent us immediately, but have y'all seen the Heidi Klum worm memes?
Yes.
You've seen the one where it's like 5 minutes after saying this edible ain't shit. It's Heidi Klum is a worm. Okay, for the uninitiated, Heidi Klum, the famous person. I don't know what she does.
She's like a supermodel or something, right?
Is she really?
I thought she was an actor. I don't know. Whatever.
If she's so
famous.
super, why didn't I know that?
What are her powers?
Worm?
Worm? No, she went to some party dressed as a worm, like a hyper-realistic, human-sized worm. It's the most discomforting thing.
I did see a picture of that, but it was memeified, of course, talking about conservative Cubans who fled Cuba. Living in
that was
Miami.
my first thought.
I just like the 5 minutes after saying this edible ain't shit, and then it's just a worm. I related to that. Sometimes I get a little wormy, you know?
This is why I don't fuck with edibles. Jesus Christ. that none of them are vegan. So Connor, what have you been working on?
Okay, yeah, let's get back on topic. Sorry.
Yeah, back on topic. I haven't been working on too much. I can't remember. And I don't know if anyone else remembers. Did I mention on the last one that I had gone to a drift event?
Yes.
But on a dry track.
Oh,
no,
the last one I heard of was definitely wet.
Okay. So then I did go again, pretty much right after whatever we recorded. And I managed to get a day when it was actually dry, and I didn't do too bad. It was definitely fun. I'm still lacking where I used to be, obviously, but I had a good time. I think I had like 50% of them were relatively clean runs without spinning, so worked out. And I brought this time I caved and brought my whole like low profile floor jack, which takes up almost the entire like width of the trunk basically, and so that was a whole new experience. But everything went fine. It crushed the tire inflator I keep, so that sucked. But I got another one of those too. All that said, I went to a drift event. I had fun. I'm slowly getting back in practice, and besides that, I haven't really worked on too much.
Is the car running okay?
It's actually it's getting like worse as we get colder. It's not running super good. I did go to a local performance shop, and I think I had this done since we last recorded. Probably it was like a week ago. And I had them go over the car, like kind of a third party who hasn't like fucked with the car yet. And I had them go through, their whole flow chart of how to troubleshoot like bad tuning, or could it be something mechanical or whatever. And they gave it a clean bill of health, saying there isn't shit wrong mechanically. It seems like there's something wrong with the fucking tune. And luckily they only charged me like $250. And they did a lot of tests, so that was pretty sweet. Actually, I was expecting to pay a lot more. So anyway, got a clean bill of health, but I'm kind of back to square one. I think I'm going to try the more sketchy tuner in the area. Long story on that, but I think I'm going to try the guy, because obviously there's only 2 pro tuners in the Chicago area. And obviously the one I went to had no idea what the fuck was wrong, and they couldn't figure shit out. So I am going to try the other guy, but he's definitely less well known, and some people have had some bad experiences with him. So maybe set myself up for some problems here, but whatever.
Yeah, I guess you're rolling the dice, but that's
Yeah.
all you can do right now.
If I have a hobby besides cars, it's setting myself up for problems.
That's the same hobby. You're just saying cars twice, like
Pretty much. So yeah, it's not ideal. It's not running super great, but and I do have an emissions test coming up that I have to get done.
Get studying
soon. Yeah. Well, the studying is getting this tune figured out. So either the shop I went to before or this other guy. I think I'm going to try the other guy first. But worst case scenario, I'll go back and say, look, I've had several people look at this shit. They're all saying your tune's fucked. Like, you need to figure it out, and you can't charge me money for it. But I don't want to do that because I have a feeling it's going to wind up with me paying money somehow for their fuck-ups. So, anyway, that's all I got, really. I went to a drift event. I did okay. And still trying to figure out my tuning issues after all this time.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
It's great. So I guess that's who's next?
Oh, that's me.
All right, sweet.
I've been back to working on stuff. Not too aggressively because I still have some fabrication projects that I'm trying to hammer out so that I have like the free time and space to work on my own stuff. But I did get back to working on my early Chevy. I think I'm going to make a serious effort to have it on the road early next year. Because
that would be sweet.
Cool.
Like not early next year, early in terms of like warm weather season.
Oh yeah, I figured that.
Once I finish up the portion of the body work that I'm doing, I think I'm gonna bounce around a little bit and work on the things that were actual like immediate problems back when I had it on the road before, which is like holes in like the A-pillars so that water was leaking directly onto the fuse panel. I've got to replace a lot of that stuff. Then I can rewire it, and then a couple of minor things, and it becomes drivable. And it's one of those things where I can, patch up a fender when I'm like, and still drive it, or replace the rocker and then drive it home or whatever. I do want to get as much of it done as I can and start working on the interior and stuff. Oh, that's another one. I've been like, I got my I have an industrial sewing machine, and I've gotten that back out, and I'm gonna start trying to sew some. Like the upholstery on everything I own is like pretty ragged, so I think I'm gonna start trying to like sew new seat covers for some of the like bucket seats in the vans, the bench seat that I want to put in my Cutlass. Like that'll be a good like depth of winter, like when you don't want to leave the house or do anything at all. I can just sit in my living room and sew a new cover for whatever seat that I'm working on.
Fuck yeah, that's cool.
That's so fucking awesome.
Cool.
And honestly, like, Brandon, sometimes hearing you talk gives me a little bit of imposter syndrome. Like, I think I'm so DIY and everything, and you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna like pull apart this van and replace all these rocker panels, do all the body work. I'm gonna reupholster it too, and and the wiring, and I'm gonna rebuild the motor myself. I'm like, God damn, man, I am fucking a scrub. I'm just like pulling off stock parts to swap them out for aftermarket parts that were made by a company to fit perfectly. And I'm like, oh, this clearance isn't good on this part that I spent money on. I'm so disappointed. What the hell?
Y'all, that's a two-way street, because I hear you guys talk about like more modern car stuff, and by which I do even mean like some of like the 90s or whatever shit. I don't know years on everything, but remembering that like my newer vehicle that I actually work on is a 75. Like, first of all, I live in an area where they salt the roads in the winter, so everything rots to shit.
Yeah.
And I refuse to not daily drive 50-year-old things.
I feel, yep.
What you're saying is you bring it upon yourself.
Well, to an extent, yes, but also the nature of my interest in cars necessitates it. It either necessitates behaving the way I do or having a lot more money than I have, which I honestly might if I didn't keep buying tools so that I could fix things the hard way. But like I can't fathom going to like finding a mechanic to put a tune on something, or like you're talking about doing a whole drivetrain swap on a fucking Subaru. That blows my mind. Like, I know what I like. Well, all of us, we know what we know, and once you're familiar with it, it becomes easy. Yeah. But hearing other people talk about stuff that's like, I'm gonna have to learn about tunes because I'm gonna do an LS swap on something eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But it like stuff like that is not something I'm familiar with. So like it's that goes both ways, guys.
For sure. I just really, all I wanted to say, like, mad fucking respect, dude. Fucking sewing your own upholstery, like, that shit's just tight, People, I think, take that a little more lightly than other, like, car mod stuff, performance things and stuff. But, like, dude, I would kill to have an industrial sewing machine and have the time and skill and, like, that mindset to figure that shit out. That's fucking cool as shit.
The first thing I ever sewed in my life with a $300 industrial sewing machine that I bought off Craigslist was interior panels for my Cutlass. It's literally as easy as just do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you make mistakes and you learn from it. A lot of this is not even just like upholstery is kind of expensive to get like custom stuff done. Also, I'm fairly certain that if I went to like an actual upholstery shop and asked for the upholstery that I want in my Cutlass, they would tell me no. Not for any like super weird reasons. It's just there's this one material, and the only thing of it that I can find that's this print is a super, super loose knit. And I think it's going to be a nightmare to sew, and I think it's going to be fairly short-lived, and I'm going to have to redo it. But I don't give a fuck. It's what I want to do, so I'm going to do it.
You could back it with something, I'm sure.
Well, that's what one guy told me, but I'm more thinking that because it's such a loose knit and it's going to be on the bench seat, it's just going to get torn up from getting in and out of the car.
Mm. Yeah.
But I mean, the other option is to not have what I want, so fuck it.
I saw someone got fabric that's designed for like bus seats or like train seats, and it's like super like hard wearing, and also like that weird like crazy pattern you see in, I don't know, like airport carpets or
Bowling
whatever.
alleys or whatever.
Yeah, and it looks
Yeah, it's
really
like
cool, but I don't know. I don't know how
No,
easy that is to work with.
this is like a specific type of like, it's not specific type, like you know like the serape blankets, that like the Mexican blankets that you see.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's that, but I found like a very specific pattern of green that I'm madly in love with and absolutely want to put it in my interior. But those blankets just, this one I think is a fairly like cheap one as far as it goes anyway, because it's just such a thin material. But somebody told me, yeah, to just use like the best spray adhesive that I can find to put a backing on it, and it's not like I'm not going to use just one piece of blanket to cover the whole seat. It's going to have like inserts and spots here and there. So hopefully it lasts, and if it doesn't,
Yeah.
I'll fix it or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, but like all I really wanted to say as far as like me doing everything DIY is a lot of that is I just like learning how to do new stuff. I like, so like I'm gonna do the wiring on this van, but it's from the '60s, dude. There's like power nothing. Like it's manual brakes, like the only thing I'm running off of the like pulleys off the motor is water pump and alternator. That's it. So wiring is
crazy.
literally just, I can buy an aftermarket wiring kit for almost anything, and it'll be a long day to install it, if even a long day.
Yeah. Yeah, that is definitely a big difference with like, you know, the classics that I've worked on, the few that I have. The wiring was just dead simple. Like that was the nicest thing. If there was a wiring issue, it was just like, oh, is it this one or that one? It's like, oh, it's probably one of the two. On modern stuff, you know, you've got a massive
Like I'm having a
amount
slight
of
wiring issue in my 75, and it's frustrating just because that one has a full interior. So if there's a pinched wire or something somewhere, it's just harder to get to. But I actually think it's going to be something in the column. So not that big of a deal.
yeah. That's pretty
And
easy.
yeah, the only I think I've put my Ford away for the winter. I haven't firmly decided on that yet, but I think I'm going to patch a couple of things up and, you know, try to let it not get worse from the salt on the roads. Because everything that I drive through the winter, after 2 winters, it just looks like shit. And I've started working on my chopper again.
Nice.
Cool.
I started building a Harley chopper a while back, and it just sort of has sat in my shop for years now. So I started pulling that out and getting parts together, because I think I have literally 95% of what I need. It's just some probably
awesome.
like a few weeks worth of fab work to do it exactly the way I want to do it, and, you know, sew my own seat, because that's a thing I'm going to do. All that sorts of shit. And yeah, just start getting that ready.
Remind me, was that like a pan head or a flat head? What were you doing in that one?
Shovel head motor, pan head, frame, and transmission.
Nice. So that'll be a four-speed,
the frame is
right?
a 49. What's up?
That'll be a 4-speed?
Yeah.
Nice. That's sick.
Yeah, it'll be cool. It's I'm going to be running like an 8 to 10 over front end, like a tall back, like king and queen seat. It's the frame is pretty stretched out, but I had to dig my frame jig out because there's a couple of spots on the frame that I tried to make myself be okay with, but as I stare at them, I'm like, no, I'm cutting the neck off and I'm redoing the tubing.
Nice. It'll be like a hardtail, like a straight up chopper, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a 49. Those are factory hardtail.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know about Harleys that old at all.
Oh no, it's fine. Most motorcycles were hardtail back then.
Yeah.
I think like some of the British stuff probably started going like rear suspension in the 50s, but in the 40s, I want to say that pretty much everything was hardtail.
Yeah, there was one or two. There was some motorcycle company I forget the name of that had rear suspension in like 1920, but that was pretty rare.
Yeah, Harley didn't go rear suspension until I think 58.
Yeah.
If I don't think we have any Harley guys that listen to us, so I'm probably safe if I'm wrong. But
Yeah.
I'm not certain about that, but I think it was around 58. Because I actually have a panhead frame that was one of the first eras of their swing arm frames too. I just have so much shit. That's why when people ask me like, "Oh, how many motorcycles do you have?" I don't know what the fuck to say because it's like I don't know like how many are running or like how many could I put together from the parts that I've got or some weird third thing.
That's like how many mopeds I have at the moment. I mean, I guess 0 and 0 by that metric, but I have 2 frames and like 4 engines. So, I don't know. Hey, if anyone wants a project, let me know.
I think I arguably have like 7 or 8 motorcycles.
That's too many.
Cool.
You gotta start selling those. Sell them parts.
I've been putting things back together so I can be like, okay, this is worth about $400 as it sits, or I can like fix all of this stuff and get it running and maybe get a couple of grand for it.
Yeah, the everlasting allure of doing that. Get it running to sell it for
Dude,
more.
I have like the one thing that I always like just neglect to think about is I have a 90s S10 Blazer, and I finally broke down. Like nothing was wrong with it. I just don't like it. And it was an intermediary vehicle between like when one van broke down and me finding the next van that I actually liked. Nothing was wrong with it. And I finally broke down a few weeks ago to go like put fresh gas and a battery in it and see if it would start. And the key was missing. And there's this whole long story about why this is like such a big deal that I don't want to get into. Because like there's this other thing where like technically it's not parked on my property, and if anybody ever wants to hassle me about it, I just decided it wasn't worth the stress, and I was gonna like get it running and sell it finally, and I finally found the key a couple of days ago, so I get to add that to the project list and hopefully get that like fired up and sold soon.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, I just want to get rid of shit. I'm past whatever weird phase I was in where I just wanted to collect all the junk. I want like 5 really fun, cool things and just nothing else.
Yeah, time to downsize for sure.
Yeah, I'm about it. Okay, using our new torque bolt pattern, Zach is up next.
Yeah, I really feel you when you say you want to downsize. So I bought another car. And I literally don't have anywhere to put it. So my Ford Ranger is in the shop right now, and I'm hoping that I can get all the parts off of it that I want, and then get rid of whatever's left before the Ranger is out of the shop, because that's the only place that I can keep this car is where the Ranger was.
Boy, I can't wait to hear how this has worked out on our next recording.
Spoiler alert, not well. No, we'll see. It could work out okay. There's always a chance, right?
I think I might have a better chance of winning the lottery, and I didn't even buy fucking tickets. So,
hey, fuck you, man. That's rude. All right. Let me dream, goddammit. Oh no,
no, it might.
We'll
I could see it working out. If you're looking to strip parts off this car real quick, it can be done pretty fast.
Yeah, I think the one thing I have going for me is that it's a Subaru.
Yeah,
and I know the platform inside and out super well, and they are famously easy.
I've heard they're a lot like Legos. Once you know them,
exactly like Legos. There's literally like 3 bolt sizes that everything is. Like, it's going to be a pretty quick process, I'm hoping. So yeah, to get into it, I browsing on Copart auctions. If you don't know Copart, it's a great place to find pieces of shit. And I found a nice little wrecked 2013 STI with 79,000 miles on it.
Too
Which
soon.
is
Yeah,
pretty
too
damn low.
soon. Ouch.
Yeah. RIP that STI. Also, the plastic panel to the left of the steering wheel is like completely bashed in. So RIP to that guy's knee.
Oh,
He definitely fucking
Ouch.
rocked that shit like hard. I was looking for one for like, all over the country, just, anywhere that they were going to sell a crashed or broken STI, because I want the STI drivetrain. It's got the nice sturdy 6-speed, bigger brakes, bigger differentials. It's got the controllable center differential,
Ooh.
big wheels, big hubs, bigger axles, all the good shit, But to buy those parts individually is like 10 grand minimum. So I was seeing a few that were pretty badly wrecked go for around 3K, but they were like in Florida or Maryland or whatever. So, you tack on shipping fees, you tack on a brokerage fee, because, a lot of those states you have to have a broker. You can't bid on them as an individual, yada, 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 whatever. They were coming out around the $5,000 to $6,000 mark. And I was like, okay, it gotta be a pain in the ass to schedule the shipping and all this and that. And I ended up finding this 79,000 miles here in Colorado. So I was like, well, fuck, I'll go check it out. When looked at it, looked pretty cool. Really clean paint. It was the STI Limited, so it's got like heated leather seats and good shit like that in it. And I was like, damn, this is like a desirable car, right? Like low mileage, it just has front end damage. It didn't burn to the ground like other ones that I was seeing, which is always, not a good thing to happen to a car. So I talked to the guy at the place and I was like, hey man, so like, this thing has to go to auction, right? Like, I can't just like buy it outright. He was like, well, unless there's a buy it now price. And then I went and looked on the ad on the website, and sure enough, there was a buy it now price, and it was $5,000. And I was like, well, damn, that's like what I was looking to spend. And so I talked to him, and he was like, yeah, you can just go on there. You just place the buy it now bid, and basically the seller can like reject that bid if they want to force it to go to auction. And you can't really do much about that. They can just continue to reject it if they think they can get more at auction. Or, you could let it go to auction if you think that you could get it for less at auction. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I wanted to spend $5 grand. It's buy it now $5 grand. Let's see what happens. Put in my bid and everything, and like, approved. Schedule your pickup. So I'm picking it up on Monday. Got an STI.
Sweet.
It's beat to shit, but hey. Well, not beat to shit. It's actually in really good condition other than, the smashed up front end. So yeah, if you're in the Denver area and you want any plasma blue WRX STI parts, hit me up. I'm going to part out the whole thing, hopefully make my money back. Cats on the downpipe are going for like $1,200 right now. I think mainly just for recycling. So should be able to make a good amount of money back out of this, hopefully.
That's good.
But yeah.
I love that you said that it's in good condition other than the front end damage. not even joking. Like, I say that shit to my regular friends and they're like, okay, so it's totaled? And I'm like, no.
No, listen, you're not listening to me though. It's in perfect condition other than it ran into the back of another car at a high rate of speed. Other than that, it's literally flawless. I don't understand what you're not getting about this. It's very.
I tried to explain to somebody one time that my Chevy van would last forever because even if like when I blow up the transmission, it's just so easy to find Chevy motors, and they're like, "It sounds like you're just talking about destroying your van," and I'm like, "Yes," and then fixing it very easily. And there was just a disconnect that you guys don't have. You get it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's what's the ship?
Yeah, ship of Theseus.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's
The
the
Chevy of
same
Theseus.
van. Yeah, the Chevy of Theseus. It's the same van I've always had. Didn't you replace the motor and the transmission and a bunch of the body panels and the driveline?
Okay, that's actually my early
And the
Chevy.
hubs?
It's on. My early Chevy is on its second motor and third transmission. The only thing I haven't grenaded is the rear end, and I'm gonna.
By God, I'm gonna do it one way or another.
Well, I already have a replacement for it, so I might as well.
Right? Yeah.
I got a fucking 12 bolt to put in that
Yeah,
thing.
make sure you
hell
do
yeah.
it right on the line at the track. Everybody who's sitting behind you loves when cars break on the track. It's really their favorite part.
They get to just chill out for a while, you know? They don't have to race. Oh, it's great. They
I would
get
say
a
it
nice
depends on
little
how
break.
catastrophic the failure is.
Yeah.
That's true. Sometimes it is entertaining.
Like, if you try and send a rod to God, then everyone is entertained.
Have you seen that picture of like a Camaro where like the flywheel exploded and shot chunks like through the door and stuff?
Oh God, no.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
My favorite, as in least favorite, is first gen Camaro that hooked up so hard in drag slicks that the body like dropped and it bit into the fender and ripped the back of the car off.
Jesus.
It de-skinned, like it took all of the sheet metal off of the rear fender. It was heartbreaking, but also really impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a lot of power to do that. That's impressive for sure. I would love to see that happen.
I mean, it had a lot of tires, so I'm assuming it had the power to fucking move it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all I had on my shit.
What was it?
Did I have anything else?
Well, that brings us to Bryant. I don't know.
I think that's it. Yeah, you go, Brian.
Yeah, if you think of anything, just interrupt me. I haven't been up to too much. I was gonna do the brakes on my car yesterday, but my back's been hurting, so we'll see if I have enough time left today to do that. We'll see. Just the front brakes, they're all the warped rotors and all that. I did try and fail to help fix someone else's car yesterday. I was out running errands and I saw it was like a Hyundai with the hood up, and I walk over there and ask, "Hey, you okay? You need help or something?" And she's like, "No inglés," and I'm like, okay." And I try to like answer, like put together my best high school Spanish to try and like say, "What do you need?" or whatever.
Yeah.
And pull my car in and try to jump start it because I didn't have my tools with me or anything, but I did have jumper cables. And hook up the jumper cables, nothing. Wait a couple minutes, the solenoid clicks. Wait a couple more minutes, and it goes ugh, and turns like 10 degrees or whatever.
Oh, great! See, it's one of those, like, all right, I'm going to be standing here for a minute here.
Yeah. So I hung around there for like 15 or 20 minutes, and it could never get beyond just turning like 10 degrees at a time. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I have to leave. Do you have someone helping you? Because she was on the phone talking to someone. And she's like, yeah, okay, it's fine. And I'm like, okay, sorry, I can't help more, and left. But I don't know.
That's the way it goes sometimes. I've stopped to help people when I'm like, I don't really have any tools or anything, but I can look at the hood and be like, oh yeah, it's probably this thing that you can't fix on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And
I was trying to tell her, like, I checked the oil and it was a little bit low, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe something's seized up, I don't know. But I couldn't really say that in Spanish very well with my Google Translate on my phone. But yeah, that's all that's been happening with me. I do have the I think 13-year-old snow tires on my Subaru right now, and they're a little bit wonky, so I am wanting to get some new ones sometime soon. So I think I'm going to buy those first, and then the rest of the tires, in a couple months or so. But
yeah, that makes sense. I remember you telling me how many tires you wanted to buy at once, and I was like, I'm getting anxiety thinking about it.
Yeah,
I hate every time the tires never last long enough, not ever.
Right.
I also never factored them in at all, and I'm like,
Yes.
oh man, I'm gonna buy these mods and those mods. What am I gonna get next? And it's like, oh my god, my tires are fucked. And it's like $800. Shit, I can't buy
I don't
anything.
know why. I don't know why I never see it coming either, but it's the same shit. Just you're like, oh, it's some tires, and you're like, fuck, I didn't budget those ever. Again, just like you said, never.
Never even crosses my mind. And people are like, wow, you really care about your car a lot. I'm like, I care about it so much. I just don't think about it.
I never budget anything. I just spend money and regret it.
Same though. Same.
There's I'm sorry to pick on you, Zach, but there's a bunch of like Subaru memes that are about like, you know, spending money on your Subaru and then cheaping out on tires. There's a Facebook group called Subaru Guys Who Hate Subaru Guys.
I'm both sides of that coin.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. I am the hater and the hated 100%. I'm literally rocking Amazon tires on my car right now.
Yeah, I am also
cheapest tires I can find.
I am also both sides of that. I have vaped in a Subaru before, you know.
Oh yeah.
I'm an awful other thing where I spend like I don't buy cheap tires for a lot of my vehicles, but I buy terrible tires for them because I really like the look of like the vintage like radial like whatever tires, and they cost a little extra, but they're shit to drive on.
Yeah.
They may cost a little more, but it's worth it because they have terrible quality.
My favorite are my like my BF Goodrich radials because they're so hard you can just do burnouts for like a quarter mile. God help you if you ever need traction.
Maybe we're getting into the news a little bit early. I didn't have this on the roster, but did you guys, or Zach, did you see that there's that giant pileup on Highway 6 yesterday?
Yes, I heard about that. Wasn't that Friday?
Or maybe it was Friday. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel so lucky. That's literally the way I took to work every single day up until like a few months ago when I got moved to a different area.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like a bridge over the highway, I think, and it was, you know, one highway over another or something, and it was like black ice, you know, got wet and then froze when the wind cooled it down or whatever. And like it was also like there was a rise, you know, like so people couldn't see over this hill, you know, and they just like it was like 100 car pile up on the highway.
Holy shit!
So,
damn.
The report I read said at least 100 cars involved.
Yeah,
it's like, oh my god.
I saw someone saying it's like the annual meeting of the Summer Tires Club.
Yeah, that meme works every year.
Oh.
No, wait, where did you say this was? Highway 6?
In Denver, okay. Yeah. Like 6 in Kalamath, I think.
I didn't hear hear about it.
It's 6th Avenue.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? Not Highway 6?
I don't have the story in front of me, so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was definitely 6th Avenue because like I said, that's literally the way I went to work every single day up until like very recently. And I was like, oh fuck, I would have been right in the middle of that shit. Sorry to all those people that were involved, but hey, I wasn't, so
yeah, 6 in Kalamath. So yeah, there might be a lot more cars at Copart pretty soon here.
Yeah, definitely.
Keep your eyes open, I guess.
I'm looking this up. This is kind of bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. While we're on the subject of Copart, I was watching some live auctions last week, and a McLaren came up on the live auction that had obviously been hit really hard in the front and then rolled, I think. It was real fucked up. And I watched it sell for like $93,500.
Huh.
Yeah. I did not think it was going to go that high, but it just kept getting bid on, and someone bought it.
Wild.
Well, because that's probably like the cost of like one of the axles or something. So somebody got a great deal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that was like a screaming deal on a McLaren, but it's just absurd to me to watch a pile of shit sell for like almost $100,000.
Oh, I see you haven't been paying attention to the car market for the last
Yeah.
I try to avoid it as much as I can. I mean, Tesla sells tons of piles of shit for $100,000 every day, you know? But that one was just very visibly a pile of shit.
Y'all want to talk about some news?
Yeah,
I mean, if I
sure.
have to.
I mean, besides 100 car pile up, that's kind of sick.
So we're back, and it's time for the news.
Boopity boop boopity boop 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 boopity boop 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 boop. Breaking news. That's the part of the show we're at. We're at the breaking news part. Boop boopity boop boop boopity boop boop. This is Cars and Comrades with your car news updates. Boop 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 boop. Woo! News time. We're gonna be so well informed and stuff.
So I guess as a time of recording, Elon Musk owns Twitter and is doing a real good job of running it.
Into the ground.
About as good a job as he does building cars. So
Yeah.
can't wait for people's phones to start catching on fire.
Where do we even start with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just I guess there was he walked into the headquarters with a sink in his hands because the joke, let that sink in. So he made a meme out of it, and then he started making crazy demands of all the workers. So he takes over. Of course, he's awful on Twitter, as he usually is, but he did start scaring the shit out of people, talking about mass layoffs and all that. So he's been just terrorizing the workers, seemingly for fun and just because he doesn't like Twitter. So it seems like he's making thousands of working people suffer because it gets him off in some way. So, usual capitalism.
I don't know if it's true. I have not seen any confirmation of this. But somebody who supposedly works for Twitter posted the email that they received to be fired, and it was just a meme about how they had been fired.
Yep.
Classy.
I saw that. I have not seen any confirmation of that, but
I did see an actual 2 sets of emails, or well, I think somebody posted, but it was 2 legitimate sounding emails for those who kept their jobs and those who did not. But last I heard, it was about 50% of the Twitter staff was let go.
Have you heard that? I forget what governmental department stepped in, but somebody stepped in and was like, "Actually, you can't legally do this."
Yeah. So what they did to get around that was, they were just going to let everybody go, but they have to give them a 60-day notice.
Yeah.
So they said, this is today. Today, you're done. You stop working. You will get pay until this point, and then there's a severance package on top of that. So I will say, it's a little bit different to get let go when there's a severance involved. That, God, how fucked up is it? But I feel like that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Because I'm always worried that I'm going to lose a job with none of that. So I'm like, man, so not working and getting paid for a few months, okay, could be worse. But again, he was kind of legally forced to do all that shit.
Yeah, if you sat me down and said you've got 2 choices, you can have 2 months of pay and a severance package, or you can have a job working for Elon Musk.
Yeah, honestly, I think that half of the staff got off easy because the other half, now that everyone is laid off, is apparently working 84-hour weeks.
Yeah, I don't know how long that might continue. Part of it was that was what people were doing in hopes of keeping their jobs. So Elon Musk comes in and terrorizes people by saying, "Oh, if you're not the hardest worker, you might be let go in a week." And so people really did overwork themselves to death. And I hope that there were some people who actually understood what was going on I guarantee you it didn't matter how hard any of these people worked. Elon Musk knew what teams he wanted to get rid of. He got rid of whole fucking teams of people. So
if
it's
I
not
was
like
if I was the Elon Musk in this situation, I would do the exact same shit. I would roll up like, let's see who the hardest workers are so we can figure out who can keep their job. And then all the dudes who actually like went ahead and worked more than 40 hours a week get fired. Like, all right, now I'm amongst my people.
Yeah, so I mean, just the way he did it was gross, but he got rid of entire teams that he didn't want there. So like, and it was all, of course, the things that make it even a functional website. And he's just like, that's too lefty, you know, they're about the tolerance group or whatever the fuck, and that whole team is gone. Even though he scared them all into working like, you know, literally 12-hour days, 7 days a week. And it's like, that's really fucked up and gross, but you know, what more can you expect?
Yeah, I think I heard something that he was firing people based off of like how many lines of code that they had written in a week or something like that. Which I don't know a whole lot about computer science type stuff, but that seems like a pretty insufficient metric.
Well, fortunately, Elon Musk also doesn't know a lot about computer science sorts of stuff.
Right. I also liked Boots Riley tweeted Twitter employees should stop all layoffs by having all employees stick together and shut down all operations till they reinstate all. Strike, form a union.
Well,
But-
that part of the reason for that is that Boots Riley is a fucking national treasure.
Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't seen Sorry to Bother You, check it out. And
Yeah, very
also,
good.
Also his music and everything.
Yeah, listen to the coup. They're fucking awesome.
I just like the clip where he was on some like he was being
Democracy Now!
interviewed. Democracy Now! That was it.
Yep.
What did she say? She's like, so you're a leftist, and he's like, excuse me, communist.
But yeah, I guess the short version is Elon sucks and sucks at running Twitter also.
Oh,
Yep.
and also he's gonna start charging, which obviously, if you're listening to the show, you already heard the news. He's gonna start charging an $8 a month subscription to get a blue check mark for anybody. So it's gonna become the Wild West. It seems like Twitter's just gonna burn to the ground
Yeah.
very quickly.
Is that real though? I thought that was just like a meme that kind of.
With him, who knows?
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, he's trying to make like a subscription service out of it, so you get like premium features or whatever. And someone did the math, and it's still not going to make the company profitable.
Oh yeah, it'll be like I think they did the math, and it was like 10 or 15% of the profits they're currently getting from advertisers, which are pulling out rapidly.
Yeah.
You know, like, hot take, but is Elon Musk actually saving us right now? Like,
Part of me wonders.
could you imagine how much psychological suffering would be avoided if Twitter just went away, like right now, that we wouldn't have to deal with?
That's true. That's the thing is
Is
feel like
Elon
with a lot of
based? Is this based? Like, in a way,
No.
No.
I mean, but if he fucks it up so hard that Twitter fails and he loses money,
Yeah,
unintentionally based, accidentally rad. I mean,
I would like to see him suffer in some way. So
Imagine a world without Twitter where also Elon Musk has $40 billion less.
that's pretty okay. That
This
is
is
a
all
utopia.
wins. This is all wins in my book.
Yeah.
I want him to keep buying Twitters. How much money does he have? Like, how many Twitters can he buy with that?
Can he just buy the entire internet and run it into the ground and then be bankrupt, and then we don't have to be terminally online anymore? Because like that would be great, actually, for me. I'm going primitivist on y'all. Like, the internet was a mistake. We got to go back to not the internet. I don't know what that is, but it needs to go away. I'm pretty sure.
Nothing more advanced than VHS tapes.
Yes, from Netflix.
That's a little Easter egg for when we were not recording. So that joke doesn't make sense.
As most of mine don't. You're welcome.
It's an Easter egg for people who are on the show.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like, well, there's not going to be like a release of the pre-recorded part, so
Yeah, maybe Easter egg is not the right word.
That was just
I
a
don't
little
know what
treat
you
for
call
us. That was just a
It's
little
a Labor
treat for
Day,
us.
well, now someone's got to explain it real quick. We were talking about how
We were trying to
Netflix-
figure out if Netflix ever sent out like VHS tapes or if they just did DVDs.
Which I don't think we ever really came to a conclusion on. So if
I think
you know,
it was just DVDs.
I mean, if someone can send me like confirmation that Netflix actually sent at least one VHS out at some point, so I don't feel like an absolute crazed person who has no real memories, that would be kind of neat. I think I would be like,
Yeah,
hey,
this is
thanks.
like a Zach's Mandela effect sort of deal.
It's exactly what it is. Yeah, it would help my mental health
Yeah.
if y'all could send me some evidence of that. That'd be real neat.
In your universe, Netflix died in prison.
God damn it.
What were we talking about?
well,
Twitter?
Elon Musk buying Twitter, but I think we said the obvious. We don't need to go super in depth. Elon
Yeah.
Musk sucks. He always sucks, but we have to cover him.
Yeah. So I guess moving on to stuff that doesn't suck, NASCAR is doing cool stuff right now, or at least people within NASCAR are doing cool stuff. At the Martinsville Speedway last week, as time of recording, NASCAR racer Ross Chastain pulled quite the move and just rode the wall into fourth place and into the standings for the championship race next time. And a lot of people are angry about this, and a lot of people are like, hell yeah, brother.
I am the latter.
Yeah, me
Absolutely.
too.
Absolutely.
I am distinctly, like, acutely hell yeah, brother.
And
I've watched that clip, so I have not watched a sum total of 2 minutes of NASCAR in the last 20 years, and I have probably watched that clip for a solid 10 minutes worth of time.
yeah. Yeah, it's people are calling it a video game move, and he specifically said he was inspired by playing, I think it was a GameCube NASCAR game back in the day. And so I can't wait until Monster Tajima gets his Pikes Peak Escudo and goes 1,500 miles an hour on a track.
Like, is there recordings of the audio between like the like whatever his coach is called and him? Because I know that they're like talking to people in the pits and stuff. Like, did he like say like, I'm gonna do this, and the coach is just like, hell yeah, send it.
I didn't see that recording. I saw like other teams are like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Thinking outside the box, goddammit.
Which, by the way, I feel like we should, because I've seen it a million times, but I do think we should describe what this actual move really did look like, because it's like, it wasn't just like riding the wall, because NASCAR, I mean, those cars get real close to the wall every time, but what he did was on the last lap of the race, he just, like, instead of slowing down for that left turn, he just
it was the left, was
accelerating. Yeah, well, so he kept
it was the left-hand turn. Okay.
I mean, look,
that narrows it down.
I'm pretty sure we might have at least one listener not from the States who maybe doesn't know that it's just endless left turns.
Hey, if you're not aware, NASCAR's all left turns, guys. That's if you didn't know that, just so you're informed and up to date.
Yeah,
If you're in NASCAR and you turn right, something's gone horribly wrong.
Well, in a way, this driver kind of did that, and just
Yeah, okay, but a lot of people are arguing that this was
point.
horribly wrong.
I think it was incredibly right, because he jumped like 12 places.
It was like 5.
Was it incredibly right or was it incredibly left? I would say the latter, and that was a very corny joke.
Yeah, it was.
Incredibly based.
No, best NASCAR move ever. I feel like I'm becoming more of a NASCAR fan because they have been switching things up the last year or two. So I don't know. I think NASCAR's got a bright future now that they've started being like, hey, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't like have the racist flags.
Yeah.
And then they also realize, hey, we can do other stuff too.
Yeah.
Like when they had
So-
the dirt track race.
Yes, which I watched, by the way. It was fucking awesome.
Did they really?
Oh yeah.
I did
Bristol,
not hear about that. I
Wisconsin.
completely missed this. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I might try.
It was a
I don't
few
know.
years ago.
What I thought during the pandemic they did it.
Yeah, that was
So, yeah,
a couple of years ago, bud.
Yeah, I watched that race. It was fucking awesome. So
They also had that short track race in LA at the Coliseum or whatever, at the sports stadium, and a lot of people are like, I think that was the first one that they've ever done in LA, and got a lot of new fans out of that because they were right up close to the racing in this small space.
sweet.
And they're also doing races in Europe next year, and one
Which, by the way, can you clarify? Do you know if they have a separate European series, or is it the same NASCAR series but races in Europe?
I think it's the second one. I think it's
Okay.
the same drivers from America mostly that are going to Europe to kind of like how the NFL will like sometimes play a game in Germany or whatever.
I didn't know that happened. Huh.
Yeah, but the NFL doesn't have to ship like a freighter full of cars.
Right. But they're doing at least one race in Finland on ice, which should be interesting.
I did
Hell
hear about
yes.
that.
Hell
that
yes.
actually brings up like what I would say was a potentially really cool thing is that every year they should do like a European race, but it's NASCAR drivers that have to use like locally sourced vehicles. So they're just in like Skodas and Opals and stuff. But it's just a NASCAR race.
But with American V8s in them.
Sure. Yeah, why not? I mean, we're just spitballing here. Like,
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool. Get a whole different class of car, but just for like a one-off.
So a problem I can see about them doing that race in Finland, won't every line be a finish line? Come on, I thought that was good.
I thought it was good.
I'm just bitter about no one laughing at my all left joke earlier, so I'm not giving you the satisfaction on your corny joke. I didn't get mine.
Fair enough. I accept that.
I did look it up, and it is a different series. It's the NASCAR Wellen Euro Series. I don't know what Wellen is. It sounds like a brand name or something. Maybe it's like the Mobile One of Europe or something. But another thing that might happen is that we all got invited to a race in Nashville next year by Comrade Dale Earnhardt Jr. Or is it? Yeah, Comrade Dale or whatever his name is on social media. So that might happen, but no promises that all of us will be there because that's far away.
Yeah, it's a possibility. There could be a leftist meetup at a NASCAR race.
Yeah.
In 2023.
I know we have at least one listener that's in the area.
This is a great idea, and I think that we should definitely at least make an attempt to do it. I know NASCAR obviously banned the Confederate flag. Did they do like a blanket political flag ban? Or is it specifically that one? Can I bring a red and black and fly it real big?
Well,
should I do that?
People...
One of you is going to need an Antifa flag.
I mean, would we immediately get jumped and beaten up? I honestly, I
hopefully
don't want to make...
Hopefully there's more than 10 people there.
I'm going to be...
I don't want to make assumptions about the NASCAR crowd, but I don't want to get the shit kicked out of me by rednecks.
I'm going to be a
They're
loud
really
and
good
proud
at that.
communist at a fucking NASCAR event. Bet your ass I'm going to have a weapon on me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a fair
that seems
point.
like a good idea. But anyway, we'll see what happens. So it is a possibility.
So I forget if we talked about this on a previous episode or not. We might have mentioned it, but a Hyundai and Kia parts supplier in Alabama got busted for child labor a couple months ago, and this was a big story. Basically, it started when there was a call for kidnapping, and the police basically found this kid. That was good, but they found out that the kid had been working at or at least someone in their household had been working at this auto parts plant underage. The U.S. Department of Labor said workers aged 13 to 15 were found at this plant in Alabama, and so in the months since then, there's been a conviction, and they were fined. Do you guys want to guess how much the fine was, or did you see it already?
Oh, I haven't
I
seen
have
it yet.
not
but,
seen it.
I'm going
gonna-
with $10,000.
Are we going Price is Right rules?
Sure, I guess
Okay, all right. I'm going 30,000.
you're exactly right.
No way. No way.
Yeah. So this was multiple counts of child labor violations, and $30,000. That's all they had to pay.
I mean, that's nothing, but like also way more than I was expecting. I really thought they were. I thought it was a possibility that they could get away with like a $500 ticket for labor. Child labor abuses for several years. Here's a fine for $200.
Right.
That's literally one Kia car.
Yeah.
Wait, is this Kia or Hyundai? Hyundai. Oh, they're for both. That is
Yeah.
literally one car from either one of these brands.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time finding words
Yeah.
to say how fucked up that is.
The children, they yearn for the mines.
Yeah. And I believe that most of these children were undocumented immigrants. So that's doubly fucked up,
Yeah, this was like, as far as my understanding of the situation, this place was known to the community to hire kids. And so families that were struggling that, knew that, kids could help, pay for stuff or whatever, or, if they wanted work, that was where all the kids would go. Like, because they knew that they bend the rules there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty fucked up. And they were making them work like, adult ass hours and shit. It was, and they knew. It's fucking gross.
Jesus.
So yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
Well, hey, I'm sure it was all above board and they were getting compensated really well.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were getting great pay.
Well, and
Everything.
of course
all the benefits too.
this was a subcontractor, and of course Kia and Hyundai had no idea that this was going on.
Oh,
So
no.
they are without blame in this incident.
Yeah, of course they had no way to know that this was happening. They could not ever be blamed for this.
Yeah, we put it in the company handbook. No child labor. It's
We
right
wrote
there.
it down. We wrote it down though.
They checked the box. They said they agreed to it. How are we supposed to know that they didn't read it?
Well, nobody reads the TOS.
What's this winking face emoji in the contract? What's with that?
See, I remember a few years ago when it actually went to I don't want to say the Supreme Court, but folks at I think it was Nestle got brought up on charges of child labor, and they had to defend themselves in court.
I think it was slavery. It was like child slavery specifically, if I'm not mistaken.
Jesus Christ!
Was this the if we don't use child slaves, y'all don't get chocolate thing?
Something like that.
I think they were testifying in front of Congress or something. Of course, with no repercussions whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they I don't remember if they said no slaves, no chocolate, but it was fully yeah, I mean, we kind of knew about this, but we can't tell them what to do.
Well, of course not. That would be interference in the market.
Yeah,
We're
what
not
are we
gonna
supposed to
interfere
do?
in the
Not take the lowest cost option? Do you know what our shareholders would do to us?
The free market thrives on child slavery.
I want to say like Firestone was doing that in Liberia a few years ago too, not that long ago. Basically enslaving people to work on rubber plantations, but with
Wow,
a
gross.
uh, third party contractor or whatever. So it's not actually Firestone.
The more
That's
things
kind of
change,
yeah. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Just like how Amazon has all their drivers are through third party companies, all little, fucking shitty businesses, and none of it comes back to Amazon. How those workers get treated.
Right.
I didn't know
Incredible.
that. I mean, that
Yep.
makes sense, but I didn't know that.
Yep. They're working with all kinds of little companies, and they just farm all that out. So they all have to conform to the rules of Amazon, but Amazon can pretend that they don't know what's going on. Oh, I didn't tell them to work that much. How could you expect us to know? So yeah, that's how they do it.
I hate it here.
Yeah. Another, great moment in capitalism, the ongoing labor dispute with railroad workers and the railroads. So by the time this episode comes out, this might be resolved. The deadline is the 19th of November. And some unions are saying, no deal. Some are saying, we're going to take this deal. And then also it has to be approved by Congress because the labor law for railroads is completely different than any other union in the United States because, I don't know, railroads are special.
The government recognized that the railroads have very, very tangible and serious power,
Yeah.
and we can't risk workers having a say in that.
I think it's mostly because railroad workers were some of the first to unionize, like in the late 1800s.
Yep. Yep. I think that was like the Pullman strike and everything
Yeah,
back in the
or
late 1800s. Yep.
yeah, um, or maybe it was a different one, but around that same time period, there's a bigger period of agitation before they actually got recognition, and part of that was like, okay, you can have a union, but Congress has to vote on stuff, on your approving your contract and everything.
Yep. Yeah, I was actually confused when it seems like some of the unions, because there's like it's an amalgamation of like several different rail related unions who are all
Mm-hmm.
covered by this contract, and I found it strange that like right off the bat when this latest deal was presented, the I think the two of the biggest unions in this group immediately said no, it's bullshit. We're not taking any of this. So like, why would a union at this point, one of the other ones, come out and say, yeah, we'll support this deal? Because it's like, well, the other two already said no. So like, what do you? It as far as I
Yeah,
understand, you can't. They can't split up which unions take what. I don't think.
the the way I understood it was that, yeah, like you're saying, that it has to be unanimous. In any union, even some of the smallest ones, which are only a few hundred members, could vote no, and then the deal would not be accepted. So,
yeah.
what is the point
The
of going
Yeah,
against the
signaling to
two?
our workers that we don't want to fight at all, even though we have to already. We
Yeah,
really don't want to look out for you. It's the other unions that are doing it. We just want to let you know that we don't give a shit. I don't know the situation, but it feels definitely weird to me.
yeah,
the way I heard it was that they all have their individual deals, or maybe they're sometimes amalgamated into one or two different deals, but any one of these unions could shut down the entire railroad industry in the US because if the
Oh,
guy that
okay.
switches
right.
the signals, if there's no people to run the signals, then nothing's moving. you know if the guy that the union that refuels the trains or whatever, if they go on strike, nothing's moving. But I don't understand the full situation, and we'll have more on it later. But it's looking like there could be a big strike, and that would like basically shut down the entire economy, especially like agriculture, because anything that's like bulk stuff that's moving, heavy tonnage across the country, is going to be affected. Also, like fuel, chemicals, coal, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they do strike because
Yeah,
it sounds like the contract that they have had has been pretty bad. So I hope they actually do go on strike and something comes of this because it seems like they got it pretty bad over there. Which I feel like brings me to a point that I thought about most recently watching some of the representatives of the rail unions like on the news and stuff and talking about how they don't have sick days and how bad they got it. And I kind of couldn't help but wonder, like, I feel like it's kind of it's important to get sympathy from the public, but also I don't know how convinced I am that I'd want to join a union when you're on TV being like, oh yeah, we work 7 days a week. We don't have any days off. If you get sick, you get fired. But what, join a union? Like, I'm a little confused as to, like, sometimes when they're complaining about how bad they got it, I'm like, okay, so why the fuck would anyone want to join a union? I don't know. I feel like it hurts. I feel like it hurts the movement in a way. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but
So
seems
should
like
I
a weird
stop
strategy.
talking honestly about my union?
I'm just saying. No, I think it's important that workers mention it. But when the leaders of the unions are going, I'm like, hey, I don't know, maybe you guys should fight a little harder or something to not to have like basic sick days because people without unions have that, or many of them. So I feel like that's it's kind of embarrassing for some of the unions where I'm like, ugh, I don't know if I'd want to admit that, but whatever. Now's the time to fight. I mean, hopefully they
Yeah,
can
that's
improve
that's
that.
where I'm at, dude. Like embarrassing, sure, but like there's only one
But
way to
now we
change
gotta
it.
do. Yep, we gotta do better. So it's like, all right, well, we gotta dig our heels in and shit. So I do hope they strike. I hope they don't get scared out of this one.
Well, hell, they didn't get scared out of the last one. They got lied to.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true.
It seems like any deal that they would take that's being offered is going to be a compromise in some way. And so it really doesn't feel like they're going to get a deal that is actually beneficial to the workers
Yeah.
in all the ways that it needs to be without striking. It seems like
that's what I
it'll
think.
always come down to them sacrificing something that they want because, the rail companies think that they can avoid a strike if they just give them this or that or a few of the things that they're asking for. So
Yeah, I feel like
they need to strike and get it all.
they got to start asking for more too when they go into these fucking negotiations.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
oh, we just want basic sick time and like to get paid overtime or something. I'm like, no, you should ask for like 10 other things because they're gonna take shit out of the deal. Like,
yeah,
I don't know how universally true that is, but I've seen that when our union went to negotiate our contract last year, we had the same shit. They asked for exactly what they wanted, and guess what? They didn't get.
yeah, and
Half
that's
of that, probably. I mean, this is basic negotiation.
Yeah,
like
basic
anyone who's bought or sold a car on Craigslist knows this shit. You don't post it for the price you want. You post it for more and negotiate down. You don't tell them how much you're willing to pay. You offer less and negotiate up. Like, why are they asking for such small shit and then getting half of it trimmed away in a compromise just to end up with, I mean, what really amounts to
crumbs, fucking
crumbs. Exactly. Yeah, that's a perfect way.
Yeah,
to put it. Fucking crumbs.
my last job actually forced us when we got our company got taken over by a corporate version, a more corporate version of what we had, and they made us take I don't know, some kind of expensive company wide negotiation like training series. It was like, I mean, it was a lot. It was like hours and hours of shit, whatever. So I had to go through some of it, and I mean, a lot of it's pretty basic. But like, I watch this, and then I see how, at least what I'm seeing come through the media for some of these unions and what they're asking for. I'm like, y'all are violating the first rules. Like, this was two videos into the fucking stupid training, and I'm like, you guys are like already failing. So yeah, it's pretty. I was like, guys, ooh, this is basic shit. So I don't know. We got to get better at negotiating, I guess.
yeah.
But we're getting better. I mean, things are going in a pro union direction at least.
And what was I going to say? I looked up another article, and the Brotherhood of Railroad Signalmen, people that run the signals, they voted 60% of the rank and file members voted against the contract as of a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So
Good.
yeah, it's looking like they're not going to be won over that easily.
Well, at least there's that.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
moving on, I suppose.
yeah, I have a little bit of a more happy story here. There's this is at the Paris Motor Show. A German company called Next Ego Mobile SE.
That's a
Really
mouthful.
rolls off the
Really
tongue.
rolls off the tongue there.
Yeah.
They have this cute little EV hatchback called the E-Wave X. Another great name.
So catchy.
Yeah, those Germans really know how to name electric cars, like the E-Bussy, another great one.
Was that a German one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
that was,
they're never beating that.
Yeah. I saw this on the Autopian website, which is a couple, it's like a couple guys that used to write for Jalopnik sort of started their own website, and they've got some other people on there too. This is the reason I liked it is it's they're going to say it's going to cost around $25,000. It's going to have around let's see, top speed around 84 miles an hour, around 107 horsepower.
That seems like a lot to be only able to go 84.
Well,
I suppose that there's some limitations with the motor and everything.
Yeah.
And how much
and
does it weigh?
2,800 pounds.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
and it's rear wheel drive also.
Oh, okay. We're speaking my language now. I'm interested.
Yeah.
I
so
did
this
not
is
know
like
that.
it's a little like 3-door hatchback, like I think technically 4-seater, but it looks more like a 2+2.
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't want to sit in those back seats.
They should always put that second 2 in quotes forever.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
not
I
a 2
don't-
plus
I
2.
think
It's a 2 plus 2. Like, technically, there are 2 humans on Earth who could fit in there, but we're not going to get specific about it.
I think I am those 2 humans.
You can just lie down sideways in the back there, or more like hunch up in a fetal position sideways.
Yeah, you won't feel the drive shaft in your hip or anything.
Well, there's no drive shaft; it's electric.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
That's a weird thought. I'm like,
But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like when I was a kid, my grandma had a Celica, and 91 or something like that. And
Cool
even
grandma.
as like she's
I was about
pretty
to
cool.
say, your grandma's sick as fuck, dog. That's fucking tight, homie.
Did your grandma teach you burnouts?
No,
Did she vape?
not that I know of.
Okay.
But I remember being like a 10-year-old sitting in the back of that Celica and being like, "Oh, this is bullshit. I can hardly fit in this thing." So, yeah, definitely not an adult in there. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the larger point of this, why I'm bringing this up, is, I wish that all car companies were making these cheap little, cute, kind of sporty electric cars rather than, like the author points out, Cadillac announced a $300,000 luxury car that's electric, at the same show.
Or an 8,000-pound electric truck, or
Right. Yeah, exactly.
A Tesla that does 0 to 60 in 2 seconds flat, not 1.9. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's really a shame that the whole point of electric cars is like to have less of an impact on the environment, and then by making them 8,000 pounds, you're like, that's not doing that. Actually, it is a shame that they put all this money in research and development into these absurdly priced luxury vehicles instead of cheap alternatives like this that could be sold to the masses, presumably making them more money. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, if you
I
stupid
suppose it would be lower margin business, so I guess that's why.
if you stupid plebes would just all buy electric cars, then we wouldn't have to deal with climate change. Ultimately, it's your fault for wanting gas cars so bad. You're controlling the market by wanting a gas car. That's why we have to sell $300,000 luxury ones, because the stupid poors don't want the electric ones, but the smarty pants rich people do. Obviously, that's clearly the reasoning here. God, like, yeah. I'm saying this ironically, and I'm still fuming with anger as I'm saying it. Because yeah, that is absolutely the attitude. You know, it's like, oh well, if you would just drive an electric car, like fuck you, man. If I could afford one,
I'm really over electric cars. Just build a fucking train.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd
that's
prefer
really
actual
the
trains and shit.
the actual solution here. But even the solution that they pretend to give to us doesn't work because they make it unaffordable.
Yup. Because they're bastards. That's capitalism.
It makes me
Damn,
wonder if
bro.
if this is a side effect of the way the car market has been so weird for the last couple of years. If they are kind of ignoring that there still is very much a market for cars that don't cost $50,000 and up. Like there are still people who are poor or struggling to get by, but they are just completely detached from that because they just look online, look at what things are selling for, and it is all, six figures for nothing.
Well, I mean, in their defense, they're correct. People keep paying it. Loan terms just keep getting longer, and that's the problem. Is like people don't have an alternative because the car companies stopped any possibility of having robust public, transportation infrastructure. So like, what the fuck else are you gonna do? I mean, there's no other choice. So they'll just keep raising the price, and people who are struggling to get by will just have to take, an 8-year car loan instead of a fucking 5-year. That's the future, unfortunately. And car payments that are what rent payments were, 5 years ago. That's where we're at. And like we've said before, the car, market is gonna have a fun time at some point in the near future, I would think, because this seems completely unsustainable.
Yeah, the bottom has to fall out, and pretty soon. Like you said, there's no way that we can sustain this on any level. And honestly, this is like a whole ass tangent, so I just want to mention it real quick. We should absolutely discuss at some point. And listeners, if you have any ideas, I am very serious about creating a community garage in my life at some point, like a way for normal people to not have to throw away a car and get into a new car payment anytime something that they see as major happens to their car. So, like, I would love to brainstorm ideas with y'all and obviously the listeners to figure out how that
Yeah.
could actually work in the real world. Because as much of a, pipe dream as it may be right now, like there is a chance I could sell this Cobra that I have for like kind of a lot of money. I might have like kind of a lot of money all of a sudden, and I want to do something worthwhile with that. And I think that would be doing some sort of a community garage where people could go to get their shit fixed and not have to jump into these absurd car payment plans that they have no choice but to get.
I've thought about that too, Zach, because
Yeah, community garage is a big one. We
Yeah.
should research. Okay, like off the record or whatever. We should research community garages and brake light clinics that have been done in the past, and and lay out like what should that potentially look like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or whatever. That'd be a fun
And
project.
how we can do it in an even more explicitly
Yeah,
socialist way, I guess.
yeah, that'd be an
Yeah.
interesting conversation for sure.
Yeah.
I seem to remember someone talking about doing what you're talking about, Zach, and I think the difficulty was the insurance.
Okay.
But I don't know. I haven't looked into it too much beyond that. I do know that I was talking with some folks at DSA Denver about doing a brake light clinic, and I found a guide that the I think it was New Orleans DSA put together a few years ago, and basically they said like, okay, buy this number of this part number bulb, and whatever, and have these supplies on hand or whatever. So I can send you that if you want to look into it, and I'm not sure if that'll happen anytime soon with Denver DSA, but I have been talking with the mutual aid committee or working group or whatever it is to possibly do that.
Fuck yeah.
But something you said, Connor, like this all has to fall apart eventually. Like bringing it back to the beginning, I think lots of people have said that if that's going to happen, it's probably going to start with Tesla because they're so overvalued that they could just collapse at any moment. But that's capitalism for you. It's all just built on a house of cards.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think on that note, we should probably wrap up.
Yeah.
Because that's the news. Woo.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, and follow us on social media. Any other thoughts before we wrap up?
No. It was a fun one.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since we did a news episode, so I feel like we should do another one soon.
Yeah.
For sure.
For me, it feels like it's been a minute since I've even done an episode.
Yeah, it's good to have you back, man. I feel like you have missed a couple here.
It was just one, but we only record every couple of weeks, so
right.
That's
true.
A month. That is true.
All right. Goodbye, listeners.
Remember to bang
bye.
gears and support the queers.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
We don't think you fight fire with fire fists, we think you fight fire with water fists. We gonna fight racism, not with racism, but we gonna fight with solidarity. We said we're not gonna fight capitalism with black capitalism, but we going to fight with socialism.
Amazingly, or not so amazingly, Cuba's crime rate is one of the lowest in the entire hemispheres. Oddly enough, it seems that when people have their basic human needs met, they're less likely to commit crimes.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
The free market mythology, it argues that the most ruthless, selfish, opportunistic, greedy, calculating plunderers, applying the most heartless measures in cold-blooded pursuit of corporate interest and wealth accumulation, will produce the best results for all of us. Through something called the invisible hand.
What are you smiling about?
Dude, I almost had you.